Hello, everyone. This is Rebecca with Digital Thinker, and welcome to the final session in our current HxGN Hacks series. If you're joining us for the first time, welcome. Over the past few months, we've explored a variety of Attune EAM topics, including 12.3.1 enhancements, email alerts, and tracking data. If you missed any of those sessions, recordings are available on the Digital Thinker YouTube channel. And I did put a link to the 2026 playlist in the meeting chat. We always appreciate your feedback and suggestions for future topics. In fact, today's session is based on requests from several users, so we're excited to bring it to you. I'm pleased to introduce Victor, our integrations architect, who will be leading today's presentation on Extensible Framework. Victor will provide an overview of this functionality and how it can be leveraged within Attune EAM. So with that, I will go ahead and turn it over to Victor. Hey, Victor, how are you today?
Oh, terrific, Rebecca. Thank you. Yes, so
Wonderful.
today we're tackling EF. Yeah, we're going to look at it from a 30,000-foot view. We're not going to get into how to program EF specifically. It's in JavaScript, and I think that would be a waste of 15 minutes for everyone. That would take hours at the the very least. So again, I want to talk about EF, what it is, its applicability to EAM, and more specifically, how it's used in relation to Flex business rules. I think a lot of confusion around EF comes from clients not knowing when to use EF and when to use Flex business rules. So hopefully you come out of this on the other side knowing the difference and when you might want to use Flex versus EF. Okay, so what is EF first of all? So Extensible Framework or Extensibility Framework, you can call it whatever you want, is a software plugin, so to speak, that sits on top of the application layer of EAM. So think of it as programmable software that allows for additions, modifications, or sometimes even overrides to EAM's native functionality without actually modifying EAM's base code. Okay. So how does it differ from Flex business rules? Well, as I just said, EF sits on top of the application layer of EAM, whereas Flex sits at the database level. Right. So Flex is very binary, very 1 and 0 and transactional. Flex only fires when the database table is inserted to or updated on. Whereas EF can fire way before all that happens, and it fires at the screen level. So let's just take a look at how they're set up to clarify the difference here. So like I said, Flex business rules are associated specifically with database tables, right? Whereas EF actually sits at the screen level, right? So this EF rule I have written runs on the entire requisition screen. So not only just the header of the requisitions, but actually can be fired for all tabs on the requisition level. Whereas, for example, Flex, this is the R5 requisitions table, whereas this is R5 requis lines for parts and services. So the database rules, the Flex business rules are going to be set up completely differently to fire here versus here, whereas they can all be lumped into one EF piece of code here. All right, so let's talk about some use cases, right? Very commonly I see requests for EF to show soft errors on some messages, whereas Flex Business Rules has no soft error. You either completely fail and say you can't save it if you have a certain field filled out, whereas requisitions can give a warning. Say, are you sure you want to save when this field's filled out? That is very important. That's a very common one I see because, you spend 5 minutes filling out a requisition and one little thing is wrong. Well, then Flex tells them they can't save it. They have to spend the whole 5 minutes going, back and fixing whatever is wrong. Versus requisitions can be applied on each, or rather EF can be applied on each field of the requisition and tell them step by step, hey, this may be wrong. Are you sure you want to save this? Proceed. Another common one I see is for modifications to fields depending on other field values, right? So potentially we want to require or protect a field based on another one being filled out, or the value of another one being filled. For example, if I were to move this status to approved, let's say I have a UDF down here that I have called reason for approval, I could make it then required instead of just the optional that it is now. Last most common one I see is overriding LOVs, so lookup values. So I could put a lookup value on a UDF or even a existing lookup value. And based on other values in these fields here, I can have that LOV return a specific set, right? So this is actually more of an intricate setup. It requires creating a grid in the EAM that basically is a query where you pass in parameters, let's say the store it's correlated to, and based on the store, I could then return a set of values that are more specific to that store, whereas the native base application cannot have specific LOVs that are dynamic. So because it's at the application layer, it's important to note, though, as before we go any further, that EF does not work on mobile. Okay, so you're stuck with Flex business rules when it comes to mobile, because EF actually runs at the browser level on EAM desktop. So that's important to note when you're thinking about when to use Flex versus when to use EF. EF is really only applicable when you're looking at the browser level like I am here. Okay, so I mentioned a few use cases. Let's actually check them out in action. Like I said, this is all EF here written in JavaScript. I don't want to go into how it's written. That'll take way too long. But for now, I have just two of those use cases filled out here. So one, for example, is that soft warning, right? Very useful. So let's say they move this to awaiting approval. And let's say they have some parts filled out incorrectly, something wrong on the services tab. This is just an example. I don't actually have this set up to look at parts or services, but should they move this to awaiting approval and then tab out of it or go to another field, you get a little warning here. Now, this is not going to prevent them from saving it. It's just a little error message to tell them, hey, maybe something on the parts tab is wrong, or maybe you forgot to book your hours on your work order, something like that, right? Again, the other one is requiring or protecting specific fields. So if I were to move this to approved, you can actually see here as I tab out to the next field that this now becomes required. So this actually won't let me save just due to the EAM's native functionality. It won't let me save until I actually fill this out because it's now a required field. So that's just two of the use cases. I hope this better highlights the difference between the two, Flex and EF. It is definitely a tricky topic and requires some hands-on knowledge to know how to use both of them. But knowing the difference between the two and when one can be used versus the other is definitely something I'd like you to come out of this. So please, I'm pretty much done here. So if you have any questions, more specific, please let me know.
No, that's very helpful, Victor. There is one question here. It says, could you speculate on the future of EF? I know Octave is developing a new front end. What are the odds they stop using supporting EF?
That's a good question. Well, I think Octave has made a lot of they've made a lot of statements about a lot of different things. For example, in the past, Ion, the previous middleware when EAM was owned by Infor, they were very much so putting out a fear factor of, Ion is going to break with EAM. Well, we've seen that as the technologies have grown farther and farther apart, they still actually work just fine. And we've been hearing that EF is going to go away for years now. I think, from our last Streamline conference, they talked a little bit about this and how EAM is going to get an overhaul. Granted, that was 4 months ago. We haven't seen or heard anything really since. Rebecca, you might even know more than that. But so far, I haven't seen any updates, but I think we do know that something else will be happening in the future. So for all things that can be done with Flex, I absolutely recommend doing them with Flex over EF. I don't push EF very hard because I know at some point in the future, whether it's 3 months down the road or a year or two, that EF will likely need to be modified and switched over. But because so many customers have EF in their environments, it's going to be a slow cutover, right? They're going to have to give customers a lot of time to make these changes, probably get pre-access to some of these environments. So I would hope that Octave would not just cut these things over and leave everyone hanging out to dry. I think that would make a lot of people mad. So hopefully when the time does come, whenever that may be, they give you a good grace period to let you know so that you can cut over, and hopefully the switch between EF to the next version of whatever it is isn't too complicated. So that's the speculation so far. I don't really have a better answer than that.
Perfect. No, thank you for that. Another question is asking if EF is available for on-premise customers.
Yeah, EAM is available for on-prem. Again, it runs at the browser level. The only thing it can't run on is mobile, right? So EF is absolutely part of the base package for on-prem as well. So definitely which browser you're using can play an impact. So something to look out for if you know that your people are using Edge versus Chrome is to do some thorough testing on all browsers they might be using, because sometimes these browsers process this code a little differently. So it can get tricky there, but yes, it is available on-prem.
Fantastic. Are there any other questions? Great conversation. I know it's helpful for me just to hear about like the different use cases between EF and when to use EF versus Flex. So thank you for reviewing that.
Of course, yes. So again, the thing to remember, right, is that Flex fires the database level. Ones and zeros, it fires when things are inserted, when they're updated. EF is a lot more dynamic. So if you need to spawn a button or do some on-the-fly processing to modify values of fields or lookups, or even put those soft warning messages up, EF is the choice for that. So hopefully you come out of here knowing the difference a little bit better. I know it's still a hazy and nebulous subject. So feel free to reach out to Digital Thinker or me myself individually for any questions you might have.
Wonderful. Well, thank you, Victor, for providing us with that overview, and thank you all for joining. And I hope you enjoy the rest of your Wednesday.